spiritual future. Want to be my...
Hey guys, it's Savannah. Welcome back to my channel, and today we are back doing another Heartbreak Pep Talk video. This is part 3. You guys seem to really enjoy these Heartbreak Pep Talks. Whenever I go through my DMs, you guys always say that your Heartbreak Pep Talk was my favorite. It helped you out the most. I feel like I haven't done one in a while. I feel like the last one I did was like January, right? Not January, no. December maybe? November? I don't know. Somewhere around there. No. Did you just play Friends? No. No!
Still thinking about it, huh?
I want to watch Friends too, but later. I asked you guys on Twitter what you wanted me to talk about in this Heartbreak Pep Talk video, and you guys had a range of all different types of things. So I'm gonna pick a couple and we're just gonna go from there. So I was reading through what you guys wanted me to talk about, and one thing really stuck out to me a lot, and that was the difference between lust and love. And how do you know if you're just like in lust with someone in a sense, or if you're in love with someone? Because let me tell ya, I used to not think that there was a difference. I'm so wrong. There is a huge difference. There's no definition on how to love someone, but there are things that you don't do when you love someone. There are things that don't qualify as love, and there are things that just don't happen when you love someone. So this is not to call anyone out. This is not to like do anything like, don't come for me if you do these things and you think you're in love with someone. Like, I'm sorry. Also, I had fun dip earlier, so my tongue's a little blue. There is definitely a huge difference between being in lust with someone and being in love with someone. And I think when it comes to lust, there's a lot of, or at least for me in the past, there was a lot of jealousy and tension and competition and fighting and who can outdo who and all this stupid shit. And it's like, at the end of the day, none of that matters. Like, none of that matters. Like, when you truly love someone, there is no jealousy, there's no competition. You don't want to hurt that person. You don't want to hurt someone you're in love with. And I think in the past, I was in relationships where we were kind of always in competition with each other and always trying to one up one another and just like see how many buttons we could push until the other person popped. That's not love. Like, I cannot even ever imagine right now trying to make my boyfriend jealous or trying to like hurt him or like one up him. There's none of that. Like, there's no one upping. Like, I think there are different types of love. So something a lot of you guys wanted to know, I'm just looking at Twitter, and that is how to stop thinking about your ex and reliving old memories, like trying to change how you feel about them. So personally, for me, I overthink everything. I overthink like crazy, and even when a situation is done, I always replay memories. Like, if I'm trying to get over someone, like, and actively trying to get over someone, it's almost harder for me because I know I'm trying to get over them, so I keep thinking about them and I keep playing all these memories, and it takes a long time. Like, I remember this guy used to cheat on me all the time, and I used to just always think about the good memories of like the one time he was nice to me, and it's like, sweetheart, like, he cheated on you 5 times last week, like, where's the disconnect? I learned about this and if you're a psychology major, or you know what I'm talking about in any way, shape, or form, let me know what the term for it is in the comments down below. But when I learned about this in my social psychology class, it made so much sense. And that is, I think it's called the first impression bias. And that is when you meet someone and that initial first impression, they say like first impressions are really important. That's completely and 100% true, because when you first meet someone, that first impression sticks out in your mind and that's what you remember. So our teacher explained it as like, let's say you meet your girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever it is, the first time you meet them, that's what's gonna stick with you. That person that you met, that's what's gonna stick with you. Like, you're obviously gonna remember the hurt and the pain and all the other memories that come along with it, but you're gonna defend it because of the person you met when you very first met them. Because that person, guarantee you, if they flat out said, hey, I'm gonna cheat on you, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, you probably wouldn't be with them. Most likely. I don't know. But you most likely wouldn't want to be with someone like that. But when you're first meeting someone and they come off as a smooth talking, nice person, you're gonna go with it. And so that's what you're gonna remember. And so the whole first impression bias thing is that you're always gonna remember that person, and when all the bad things start to happen, that's what you're gonna remember. You're gonna remember that person, not the person that hurt you. And I don't want to bring like science into this because like, hello, I'm Savannah, I don't do that. When I first heard about that, there like a million light bulbs went off in my head and everything started to make sense, because I never understood why, and I think a lot of people don't understand why they constantly go back to someone who treats them so terribly. But I think it's also really important to remember that people change. And you know, like, it's the same thing. Like, when you first meet someone, you want them to see the best version of you typically. But then once you get comfortable around someone and you start opening up to them, like, you don't change, but you let them see this different side of you. Just like you do that, other people do that too. And so the person that hurt you. You might not have met them on the first night, but that doesn't mean that's not who they were, you know, or that doesn't mean that it's not what they had in them, because clearly they did. And you know, it all just ties back into self-worth and self-confidence and knowing what you deserve and all of that. So that's always really important. I talk about that in my first Heartbreak Pep Talk video. You can't blame yourself for still reliving all those great memories, you know? Yeah, let's say whoever you're dating, whoever you're talking to hurts you, and you replay all those good memories in your head to forgive them, and you do forgive them, and you guys do get back together, and for a minute everything is great. You know, you go back into that honeymoon stage for like a couple days or a couple weeks, but then as soon as that's over again, all of those issues, whatever they were, whether they were trust issues or whatever, they're still gonna be there, even to an extended point at this time. Because I know personally for me, I went through situations where when I got cheated on, I constantly took him back, and every single time I had worse trust issues than I did to begin with. But every single time when we broke up, I was like, I'd rather be with him than be without him. That's what screwed me up, because I would rather have been with someone who cheated on me, treated me terribly, lied to me, manipulated me, all of the above. But then once it got back to it and we were back on our bullshit the very next day, we had so many more issues than we had to begin with. Because for me, it was literally always pretty much me. All I could remember was the good times. And you know, the good times are great. You never want to forget the good times. You never want to forget your good memories. They're always going to be there, and they always should be. But you have to be smart about it. You have to understand that, you know, people change, and sometimes it's for the better, sometimes it's for the worst, sometimes they always had it in them and you just never saw it. And you know, even after all of this, and I know it's hard to move on from someone, and I know that the moving on process sucks, and I know there's that like famous saying, like, to get over someone you like have to get under someone else. That's not true. Take it from me, that's not true. Like, I was so heartbroken at one point in my life, and I turned to every possible person that I could. Not saying I just like, you know, had a free-for-all, but you know, I did turn to a lot of people to try to fix my pain for a little bit, and the pain went away for like 20 minutes, but then there it was again, and it just didn't fix anything. So I personally don't believe the whole like you have to get under someone to get over someone type thing. Some people do. That's great. I fully got over everyone that I was hung up on when I realized who I was, and I realized what I deserved and what I was worth, and that wasn't the bullshit that I was accepting and the treatment that I was accepting. I always made exceptions for things that shouldn't have been acceptable. I would rather have them in my life and hurt me rather than not have them in my life and feel the pain of being without them. I lived for the pain that some of the people I was with caused me. I loved it, but I hated it at the same time. Real talk for a second. If you get anything out of this video, please understand what you're capable of and what you're made of. Don't take shit from people just because you feel like you'd rather be hurt with them than be lost without them. You're gonna find someone who never makes you question any of that shit, like ever. And you're gonna be like, why the fuck was I hung up on Jake, Johnny, and Jimmy over there? Because it's gonna get to a point where it's all gonna click. And you're gonna understand why you had to go through all that. It wasn't your fault. People treating you like this isn't your fault. If you were completely honest and completely just trusting and gave your heart to someone who you thought would protect it and they didn't, that's not your fault. And don't let yourself shut down because of that. Like, the person in those memories typically isn't that person at the end of the day anymore, at the point in time that you're looking back on them. Because you also have to think about it. You're probably not that same person either. Like, you're probably not the same person that you were, unless this was like a week ago or 2 weeks ago, but typically you're changing every day, you're evolving every day, and you're probably not the same person that you were a couple months ago. And that's completely fine. And the person you're thinking of probably isn't either. But you have to stop living in the memories, because if you do that, you're gonna stop yourself from creating new ones. That was my thing. I was always so stuck on memories. Can I just tell you guys something real quick? When I first went off to college, right? This is so embarrassing. Wow. There was someone there that I kind of had a thing with who had the same name as someone I had known in the past. And because they had the same name and I didn't let that other person fully go mentally and in my own self, I literally, like, no joke, you guys, I would lash out at this new kid all the time. Like, literally would like yell at him for cheating on me. I was so awful to him, literally accusing him of left, right, and center, all of these different things because the other guy with the same name did it. And that's when I realized realized I had a really big problem. And the new guy, bless his heart, was like so confused. He's like, I never cheated on you. I don't know what you're talking about. Like, we aren't really even together. Like, are you okay? Like, what's going on? And he stuck around. Like, I don't know really why. It just made me realize I have to stop living in the past. I have to stop letting my past control who I am now. You have the ability to change at any given point that you want. You have the ability to create a new life. Because even though he wasn't there, he was still running my life from hundreds of miles away. Like, that's insanity. Living in the past will drive you insane. And living in all the questions of what if I did this, or what if I said that, or what if he didn't go, or what if I stayed home, like those questions will make you lose your mind, and you can't do that to yourself. I finally got to this point where I was like, I can't do this anymore. Like, I really can't do it. And so I just told myself, like, I have to get over it. That story is really embarrassing. Like, really embarrassing. Like, oh God, it was a bad time. Rough time in Sav's life. Are you even here? Does this make sense? Are you getting anything out of this? I feel like I'm gonna stop it right here though. Alright, you guys, that was the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you're new to my channel, hi, my name's Savannah. I make videos 3 days a week, Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday. You should subscribe, join the family. As always, all my links are gonna be at the end of this video and in the description box below. I love you guys so much, and I'll be back in a couple days with a brand new video. Bye, guys.